all things new that are tech related, there's the positives and the negatives. It's like social media when it came along was amazing. It's still amazing in so many ways, but there's so many negatives too, right? So I think that's what we have to look at. What do we want to embrace?
It is so interesting to even think like, wow, how would faceless content be outperforming what I believe and know is incredibly powerful.
One of the things I think is so fascinating about AI for those of us that are service providers that have been creating content for clients. For years, we've had to learn the client's voice, right?
Right.
It's like we've had to figure out what they would say. And now with AI, we can take their voice, we can say things in the way they would say them.
On this episode of the podcast today, we are talking about AI. Yes, AI, and how AI can be an incredible creative partner for you and me. All that and so much more. What's up, friend? Welcome to the show. This is the Grow Your Video Business Show, in case you didn't know. I'm your host, Ryan Coral, and I'm having way too much fun today. This is a really good episode, AI and short form content. There are some things that you can add to your current offerings that leverage AI, that add value to your clients. So I'm really excited about all the things that Kim shared. Speaking of AI, me, Ryan, have a free gift for you. This is my AI resource guide. So this document has all of the tools that we're using, the ones that we think are super cool, the ones that are video and business related that can help you save time, that can help you make a bigger impact. So you can download this document if you go to studiosherpas.com/AI. If you ever watch these videos, I feel like I'm like chopping. I don't know what I'm chopping. These are words. Okay, so it's studiosherpas.com/AI, and you can get access to this document, resource guide for all of our favorite AI tools. And I hope that is a helpful thing for you. I don't have much else to say here for the intro, but I'm really glad you're here, and I'm looking forward to hearing your biggest takeaways. So don't forget, after this episode, leave a comment below this video and let me know. Like it, share it, you know the things. But appreciate you for being here. And with that, let's jump into today's episode. What's up, friends? Hey, welcome to another episode of the show. Today, I have with me Kim Garst, who is CEO and founder of KimGarst.com. She knows all things AI, and we're gonna dive in. She's got some really cool insights, and right before we started recording, she even shared one other thing that I think is going to be of particular interest if you're looking to add another service, another offering in what you do. So Kim, thanks so much for making the time, and also thank you for your patience in my stumbling through trying to make an introduction this morning.
Oh, no worries. It happens to all of us. I tell people all the time, I still get nervous for any time I go live or I step on the stage.
Kim, paint a picture of, give me like a brief history of your career to where you're at today, helping businesses with AI, because there's obviously a huge opportunity for us to leverage all the things. But just curious, how did you get to the spot where this is seems like a major part of what you're doing today?
So I've been in the online space for I say I whisper because it sounds so bad.
Really quiet there.
Yeah, so it's been a long time, obviously, and because of my longevity, I have the ability to, I would call it, see the next thing pretty quickly. And so, having built multiple 7-figure businesses on the online space, I felt like this was the next evolution in marketing, and I stand by that. So I kind of pivoted, and here we are. So now I've been doing a lot of AI consulting, a lot of teaching, modeling it in my business, and it's been a really interesting journey.
I think one of the hardest things for video people, it is just continues, like it's almost like month after month as new softwares release and new things, and the latest with ChatGPT, what is it called, Sora? I think that's what it's called. It is mind blowing to see what it's capable of. So from a service provider, a video service provider, where most of our income comes from filming and editing, what should we all be looking for new jobs? I guess is the question.
I tell people this all the time. I don't think AI is going to replace you. I think you're going to be replaced by someone using it. So the ability for us as service providers to do things faster, more efficiently, better even than we could do it if we were trying to manually pour hours into it, is there using the tools and the resources that AI brings our way. Obviously, you've got some of these companies or some of these tools that are scary good. I mean, like you're like, it's going to be scary, but get creative with it. Use AI to make better creative content for the clients that you have, instead of like worrying about the fact that it's here and it's going to replace you. I think there's so many opportunities for us to shave time, resources, create better content with the use of AI.
Yeah. I think you're spot on. It's easy to just be like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe what it can do. And there's plenty of things like, hey, somebody does an interview and now they're able to plug that podcast interview into an app like, I think it's Opus AI, where you just can get like 30 mini videos from that. There are plenty of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs that are like, they're doing all the things and they're like, hey, I can just do this. And so those people probably aren't ideal clients anyway, because they want to DIY, they want to save costs. They don't, they just don't want to hire somebody to do that. So yeah, those people aren't going to hire you. And if they were hiring you, then it's time to think a little bit differently. Just like what you're saying, if you can become an extension for a business or a brand and say, hey, like we're going to take care of all that. Like if you like creating that video content and you want to, and you don't think it adds that much time, then do it. But if you would rather stay in your zone of genius, then maybe have us manage that process. And we are paying attention to the details, and we can make the tweaks, because even with like Opus AI, there's plenty of clips that are just not good. It's still, it's getting better. But at the end of the day, there's still that human element of, does this represent me well? Does this represent the brand well?
I think a lot of content that's repurposed is, I'll just say it, crap. Because it's not intentional content.
Right.
Lots of times when you have like a podcast interview, like what we're doing right now, and you take a slice out of it, you're taking a slice out of context. So the viewer is like, what? I don't know. I mean, it might have a nugget, but it's not. It's not intentional. You're not moving that person somewhere that you own. So we created this program called Content to Profit. And the premise behind it is for clients. Hey, client A, I'm going to send you on Monday morning, I'm going to send you 5 to 7 scripts. You're going to sit down and record those with a teleprompter that I'm going to provide to you. It's going to take you 10 to 15 minutes to create these 5 to 7 clips. Does that sound amazing to you? I have not yet had a client say, because the content, ideas are a problem. What to create is a problem. It's overwhelming to them, so they don't get the things done. So when you can send a client 5 to 7 scripts Monday morning, and then you do everything else, they spend 15 minutes creating the content, and now they have content for the week, and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. So, but it's all short form content. It's all 60-second or less scripts. But it's intentional content. It's problem-centric content that attracts their person to them, and then you move them somewhere that they own so that they can nurture them to a sale. We're having phenomenal success with that. So it's again, a lot. I think a lot of times when we're thinking about it through the client lens, we have to understand that time is their number one barrier to entry usually. So how can we save them time, and they're willing to, and still get them the outcome that they're wanting, and do so for a price, you know.
I love that. That is a genius idea, and that's what I'm talking about. Like something as simple as that, where this is the work that we're already doing. A lot of times it's like, no, we've got to be in the presence of our client to do this. And there's like, man, there's directing that we can do via Zoom and in tools like, hey, you can do this on your own with a teleprompter. That's genius. What are you doing with people that are like, time, huge barrier. Coming up with
Yes.
the content and the idea, like that's another massive barrier. But what about the people that hate their voice, hate seeing themselves, or just hate being on camera? What kind of coaching or encouragement are you doing there? Because certainly that's an issue.
Yes, it absolutely is an issue. And for those types of clients, we try to encourage them and we do some coaching with them to see if we can help them overcome it. But if we can't, we do no face content. And that has also been very popular. In fact, I just read an article yesterday. Instagram is changing things again. Their algorithm, what content's going to be seen, and whatnot. And one of the blurbs was about the fact that no face content is outperforming, in personal content. I was like, what? So I thought that was very fascinating because I have traditionally been all about, if you want to relate to your person, so get in front of the camera already, right?
Yeah.
But I think that people are consuming all kinds of content today. And it's not necessarily, I think if you're the face of the company, I think you still need to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's just my personal take on it. But no face content is working.
Kim, I like you. I like how you're talking about this stuff. These are like the same, like, you just think very similarly. I believe that, this kind of connection, this is the best thing outside of in person, right? For you and I to have a conversation like this. The next best is, I think, is, like you're by yourself or I'm by myself creating content to try to reach people in sort of an evergreen way, right? To have your story, your passion, the thing that you care about, for you to be able to talk about that and for people to see that and hear that, like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it's hard to schedule a 15-minute call or an hour-long call to get to know you. So for that to be an entry point, so it is so interesting to even think like, wow, how would faceless content be outperforming what I believe and know is incredibly powerful. But I'm glad that you said, like, no, if you are the face of the business, like, you still need to be showing up like this. And it sounds like you probably should be maybe creating some faceless content as well. And just for those that might not know, like, what is that, like the headless horseman? Like, what are we talking about there? What is an example?
It's like, it could be just showcasing something, like, you're turning the camera the other way and doing a tutorial, for example, right? It could be just pre-made content. That's what I call it, generated content, where it's, you're given tips, 3 tips to, whatever. You could take people on a journey. There is a gal over on TikTok that has never shown her face. She walks every morning. She is she helps kids get into college, essentially. So every morning she goes on a walk. She gives tips and strategies. She's just walking along and she's just talking, and she's got a huge following. So those are just 3 quick and easy, things I can think of. So it doesn't always have to be you in front of the camera, but this is another thing that's coming. Microsoft has a new, they haven't released it because it's scary good. But it is a video tool that basically from a selfie creates a lifelike avatar. It's the best I've seen. It's got the eyebrows, the facial motions, all of it. So from a selfie, it is creating a visual avatar of you. That is where we are headed with this AI thing. So if you're not the person, and you can trade it, you can give it your voice, using some of these tools. So there's going to come a time, potentially, where we'll be able to create content that looks and sounds like us, but is not us. So what does that mean? I think that that is going to be cool and for a period of time. And then I think that we're going to come out on the other side of this probably in 2 or 3 years where people are going to want to revert back to real people. So that's my prediction. We'll see where it goes. Right now, we ride the train because it's where we are. But it is, I think it'll evolve back to people are going to want to, reconnect with real people again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think that is a really good and sound prediction. Because everybody's going to be, not everybody, I mean, some people are going to be freaked out and be like, I'll never let AI do that to me, of me. But you're right. Like at the end of the day, I think the thing that is always going to be true is that we're always going to yearn for, long for like true human connection. And the AI thing, it's cool, like, and it's a way, but it's not going to be the way. To not actually know, is this their AI? Is this their bot, or is this them? I think there's going to be a lot of I don't want to say frustration, but we just long for what's real. and the tech is cool, but it's just not the real thing.
There's also other instances where there's opportunity for people that have lost their ability to vocalize, like Randy Travis, for example. He just released a new song, and he had a stroke several years back, and his voice ability, his ability to speak, has been impacted. Yeah. So he thought he would never sing again, and now through the ability of having AI, he can use his creativity. He can come up with his own songs again, write his songs. And then it sounds like him. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's incredible.
I haven't heard it.
So there's for all things new that are tech related, there's the positives and the negatives. Yeah, it's like social media when it came along was amazing. It's still amazing in so many ways, but there's so many negatives too, right? So I think that's what we have to look at. What do we want to embrace and champion from a service perspective? And then as that evolves, how do we step back from it? Because that's the only given in marketing is change.
Yeah. Yep. And it keeps on. It doesn't quit. Okay. So a couple of things I'm really excited about. I don't know if my mom has heard this new Randy Travis song, but she's going to be thrilled. And speaking of my mom, do you know Jeff C?
I do know. Okay. I love some Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's the best. I got his newsletter the other day, and Suno. Do you know Suno? I don't know if it's .com or .ai. Yeah. Oh my gosh, have you used it?
I have played with it a little bit because I heard about it from him.
So
it's incredible.
I quote unquote wrote my mom a song for Mother's Day.
Yes.
She loves country, and so it's in the, it's country Americana, like Kim, this song, she is gonna cry. And it took me 15 seconds to just write a couple of sweet things. My mom, her dad passed when she was young, and she kind of had a hard life growing up, and she's sweet, she's strong, and all the things. And oh my goodness, the lyrics that it came up with my little prompt, and in the way it sounds, I'm like, I cannot believe that this is a real thing. So I'm gonna make this photo montage. So if you're listening to this episode before Mother's Day, that's not happening because that's just a few days away. But this is the best idea for a gift that I've come up with for my mom, because I'm gonna throw some photos of whatever, and she's gonna bawl when she reads the lyrics and hears but it's all a robot.
Yeah. But that's a great example of how, because lots of times, let's be real, most of us don't have that creative ability. To do the things. Like you wouldn't even if you come up with the concept, right? Like, how would I put the dots together? How would I sing it? That's not our jam. But through that's what I find so fascinating with AI is it's a creative partner. I think of it like that. It is
Yeah.
my creative partner, and it allows me to. You're still in charge, large and in charge.
Yep.
What you put in is what you get out,
Yep.
and I think that's the disconnect that I see the most. Most people are using generic prompts, no
Yeah.
frameworks
Yeah.
associated with it, and they're creating a sea of mediocre content. So stop doing that. If you're not a marketing person, find somebody that is and that is smart enough to know that you have what you put into AI. You have to. In fact, I tell the people this all the time. If you're not using a framework within AI or some sort of a document that gives it enough data, it learns enough, then you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
It had in order for it to be specific to you and your business or your client's business, you have to train it. You have to give it some infrastructure for it to work within. And if you don't do that, one of the things I think is so fascinating about AI for those of us that are service providers that have been creating content for clients. For years, we've had to learn the client's voice, right?
Right.
It's like we've had to figure out what they would say. And now with AI, we can take their voice, audio, blog posts, different pieces and parts of things that represent their business, and we can say things in the way they would say them. In fact, my clients are like, how do you know I would say that? It's because you've said it somewhere else, But I don't have to wade through all that. I can literally just train an AI chat thread, and I have a baseline for any content that we create for that client. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. We have, as video producers and storytellers, for us, like the world just kind of opened up for us. And when we can look at AI as a creative partner or as, something we can bounce ideas off of to expand on what we're thinking, it is fascinating. I'm curious to know, for people that would want to work with you, like how are you working with people? Like, what services are you offering? Obviously, the creating social content, giving people the tools to be able to do that. Fascinating. What else?
I have several different lanes because most of my audience is, I would say, on the small business side. So, they're still, some of them are solopreneurs. So we have a membership where we're teaching monthly workshops that are specific to something marketing related. Like this month we're doing, how do you create a brand character that looks like you, and never go to a photo shoot again, kind of thing. Sorry, photographers. But that's kind of the concept. And just so those types of things. But on the higher end of things, we've been doing a lot of consulting with brands. Like, how do I integrate AI in ways that matter? So we've been doing a lot of bots, because I think bots for websites, whether they're booking bots, whether they're AI assistant bots, whether they are, maybe frequently asked question bots, those I think are universal to every business. And I think every business should have them. Unfortunately, most don't. So there's 97% of businesses out there from a service-based perspective that we can still help. But we're also doing things like, sales, setters, all kinds of things based on the business. So those are a higher tier, higher level things. But it really is like, how does it matter to my business? What can I do either to save time? In some cases, we've been working with their internal teams to teach them how to do things that they do to create better copy, for one, and better workflows, so that they save themselves a lot of time. So it's just a combination of things, but a lot of it is really evolving towards a lot of bot stuff, a lot of content stuff, for sure, because obviously AI is a big piece of that. Going back to my small businesses, we are also teaching business owners how to leverage the power of content, not any old content, not all the content, but I call it intentional content, creating an evergreen bank of content that's going to work for you over and over and over again. And it's a very simple strategy. We not only do we do it for those that are trying to create content for themselves, but for service providers, it's a bolt-on. So it's a way for them to have a system in place that they can immediately sell. And it's short form content because that's where it's at today.
That's amazing. My friend Connie, she's in my mastermind. She runs like a Facebook agency, Facebook ads agency, and does a lot of marketing stuff. And she keeps talking about this bot, and I have yet to find out more. She's like, oh my gosh, like we're actually getting sales calls booked like through the bot. Like what ChatGPT building the bots, or like what is there specific software that is building the bots?
Well, there's all kinds of software out there today, obviously. I mean, there's a tool popping up.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's probably 100 tools a day, like no joke. But there's also, we're getting to a place where the cream is rising to the top, like it always does.
Yeah.
So there are, I find that most of the time with the tools that are out there, you're still operating like it's a singular prompt. It's a very basic thing. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up with a very basic output, Mm-hmm. So I think it requires a framework, which is what we do. We have a framework that teaches conversational selling to the bot. And then we deploy that bot depending on what the goal is. Like, is the goal to book sales calls, for example? And we do those. So, and it is incredible. There's now bots that are from an ad that will book a sales call. So there's so many things that you can do today that has traditionally been hard for us to do. Not because it's not our zone of genius. So or we didn't have the infrastructure to facilitate it. If you're constantly hustling to get clients on the daily, you need to really pay attention to what's happening in the AI space, because a lot of the problems that we have, like I said, traditionally struggled with are being solved. There's methodology behind some of this stuff, and it's really powerful. So if that's you, then, there's going to be there is solutions already to some of the things, just depending on what the problem is.
Yeah. That's well, and I know like in this space, so many of us are wishing that we got more leads and then more quality leads, right? That's probably like the biggest frustration in this space.
Can I go on a rant?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's just a little one. But the problem for us as service providers or anybody that's creating content is, and I get it because that was me in the early days, is we just throw stuff at the wall and we create a lot of content that is not moving people to someplace we own. Biggest mistake ever. Okay. And so why create it? Now, I'm not saying that all content should be like, you got to go join my list or whatever, but I think you need a bank of content that does do that, because once people feel like you can solve a problem for them, guess what? They dig in. They have a Netflix experience with you. They go check out your Facebook, your Instagram Reels or your Facebook or wherever. They want more content from you. What if you don't have that, or your client doesn't have that? So having a bank of content that's intentional, that I call problem-centered content, where, you can help me get more booked clients or whatever the problem is, right? So having that bank of content, because they're going to check you out, they're going to watch more content, they're going to move to a place that you own or your client owns, and now you can nurture them to a sale.
I love that.
That's a little bit.
No, it's good. When you're saying pushing people to a place that you own, like describe that. Tell us what do you mean by that?
We basically have two lanes that we highly recommend. One is some sort of a freebie where you're driving them to your list, right? That's an asset that you own at that point. The other lane is a free community. So we currently have our community, AI Authority creators. It is a free community. When they join, it's not on Facebook. It's off the Book of Faces. And we have that on another platform called School. And when they join, they have 3 questions they answer. So we collect their email address right there. We also ask them if they'd like a phone call to discuss how we could help them. So we have, guess what? An AI bot that reaches out to them and books a sales call.
Oh, wow.
So, there's, and then if they go the email route, then we don't just deliver the goodie, which is what a lot of people do. We have what we call a client acquisition funnel. So the first piece of it is delivering the delivering the freebie. But then we have like a 13 email sequence that follows up with them to not only nurture, but it's designed to sell them. So it bounces back and forth between value and testimonials and an ask.
Yep.
So it's not as simple as, which is a lot of times people don't know what that looks like.
Right.
So they don't have it.
Right.
But these are things that every business owner needs. My humble opinion.
I love it. It's easy as a filmmaker, as a creative, in probably any service. It's like, I just want the quality of the thing that I do to be the thing that sells what we do. But that's just, you're asking for life to be harder than it needs to be, work to be harder than it needs to be. So taking that extra step to say, well, what is a funnel, and like, could it help my business? And what could I just use Instagram to market what I do? And you can, but I love that you're encouraging us to like own the thing. We don't own Instagram. Guy Sean Cannell runs Think Media. One of his YouTube channels, I think it was last year, one of his YouTube channels got hacked. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers got hacked. And so he lost access to hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And, if he didn't have other channels that have like a ton of followers, and if he didn't have an email list, then he would have been screwed. So you can have like a massive audience on these platforms, but like you're saying, you don't own that platform. Something bad could happen. The rules could change because YouTube or Meta or whoever changes the rules. And if you're not actively trying to grow some kind of an email list through a free giveaway or some kind of, ideally more than just a, quote unquote newsletter, but something that adds value and helps your ideal client solve some problems, you have to do that. I hate being the person that say you should do this.
Have to do that. So I'll just share my story real quick on this. I had 750,000 followers on social media before I realized I needed to be moving them.
Yeah.
So it is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my business, in any of my businesses. So, it's one of those things that I think people just don't think to do. Or don't know to do. So now you cannot say you do not know, because we just told you how important it is. And now you have to, I think seriously, it's one of those things, if you just slow down to speed up. I know everybody says that, but it's so true in this instance. If you can put an infrastructure in place to where you have a mechanism to not only attract your person to you, but to capture them. Why put out content on the daily if there's no mechanism to move them to someplace you own? Right. Like these social platforms would change the rules.
Right. Yeah.
Daily. In fact, did you see that Meta is rolling out some paid benefits? So they're going to, I think $350 a month is their top package. So, and that's going to get your content in front of more people. So,
oh my goodness.
Right? They're changing the rules on us on the daily, and they're going to start charging us to get in front of our audiences that we've spent a lot of time building.
Oh man. Yeah. Kim, this is so good. I appreciate your insights. I think we share, a similar heartbeat. So love your passion, love the work that you're doing. If somebody's interested in connecting with you and maybe just learning more about how you might be able to help them, what's the best way for them to do that?
If you are intrigued with AI, definitely join our free community. It's kimgarst.com/community. If you are like, I just don't know how AI could matter to me, or if I want to bolt on something like, we talked about the bolting on an income stream, just go to my website, kimgarst.com, book a call. We can have a conversation and see if it makes sense for you. So any way I can help, just reach out.
I love it. Thank you. Very generous. And how do you want to leave our community of video business owners today?
I want to encourage you to not be overwhelmed by all the things that happen in the day-to-day of our businesses. So often I see all of us, and I raise my hand when I say this, we get caught up in all the detail work, and we forget to look at the bigger picture sometimes. So, and I think that means, working smarter, not harder, which, there's ways to do that today. So I just really want to encourage you. And I feel like I'm only here after 33 years because I refuse to give up. So, just hang in there and keep doing the things.
I love it. Thanks so much for being with us today. Really appreciate all that you brought, and excited for your continued success.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making it this far, my friend. Don't hit skip. Stick around for 30 more seconds. I'm so grateful that you are here. Don't forget about our AI resource guide. You can download that at studiosherpas.com/AI. If there's anything I can do to help you in your video business, don't hesitate to reach out. My email is ryan@studiosherpas.com. You can find me on the socials at Sherpas, at Ryan Coral, and at Grow Your Video Business. Because if you go to @StudioSherpas, it'll tell you, hey, go to Grow Your Video Business. Okay. Hey, listen, I don't know where you're at in life or business or whatever, but I do know this. Wherever you are at, you are loved, you have what it takes, and you have people that want you to succeed. So I'm cheering you on, and there's a whole bunch of other people that are doing the same. Hopefully you can receive that and believe that, and just keep on climbing, because being an entrepreneur, especially if you're doing this by yourself, can feel so lonely. And I just want you to know that you are not alone, my friend. I'm glad you're here, and look forward to doing some amazing stuff with you. No, but seriously, I'm for real. Appreciate you taking time, and I hope this episode was encouraging for you. Okay, I'm gonna go now. See you later.